Well, it's on there now.
Oh, oh, well, okay, it's on there now. Well,
Yeah,
uh,
you just add it in.
I didn't know you could do that once you'd already hit the go live.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Well, good. They're putting new stuff in StreamYard all the time. Some of it seems to be a benefit.
uh,
Um, but
but no, I
here
just thought
we
I'd pop
are.
in here and say thank you, Joe. I love these Winter War stories.
Mm, I was
Yeah.
just glad I could contribute with my limited experience from being an outside observer.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, trust me, Dan. If you could get into sort of like some of the like from the North Georgia, yeah, but from Tennessee north, if you could ever listen in to some of those 3 a.m. radio chats,
Oh yeah.
you think stupid o'clock's rough.
it ain't rough.
Yeah, the 93 was the first time most of the South ever experienced thunder snow.
Mm.
I love Thunder Snow.
Hey, put it to you this way, Joe. Us Southern boys freaked the hell out on that stuff.
It
Um,
doesn't happen often up here. It only happened maybe 2 or 3 times in the years I plowed.
oh, now I do remember. I believe it was 78 when we had Atlanta get hit by a blizzard like on Saturday.
No, that's 93.
No, it's 78 because I was at the first ever convention I went to, which was
Oh,
a
okay.
Atlanta Comic Con in 1978,
Oh, okay.
before they ever got big. And people were at the hotel. Um, a lot of us were staying with friends rather than having a hotel room, and got up Saturday morning, and the ground was a solid sheet of ice, looked like several inches thick.
Hmm.
Atlanta traffic was typically going absolutely crazy, and we actually just pretty much put on our dress shoes and ice skated without blades to the closest Waffle House, which was the,
Packed.
the plumbing was frozen solid. So we were very glad that the power had not gone out yet at the apartment building where we were sharing a friend's apartment. Um, we only got one day of that convention, so Saturday, because I'd given my mom the contact phone number for where I would be staying, I got a frantic call from her going, "Hey, the factory called. They want you to come back to work even though you're on vacation." I'm going, I'm in Atlanta. It's a blizzard. I'm not trying to drive back to Athens in a blizzard
Hmm.
just so I can show up on a day that I'm already scheduled to be on vacation.
So I know you guys don't get this down there, but you've heard of lake effect snow.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You've heard it mentioned. So our construction director back about 10, 15 years ago was down in Indy for a conference at central office, and they were talking about winter ops. And this guy that was talking said there is no such thing as lake effect snow. And everybody from the LaPorte and Fort Wayne districts just went, "What? There's no such thing as lake effect snow." They go, "So what the hell do you call it when the storm forms over the lake and just comes straight off the lake?" Well, the meteorologists down here don't use that term. Right, because you don't have a goddamn Great Lake right next to you.
Oh, who was the guy on Nick's show that used to come in and say, "There's no such thing as snow. I live in South America." I'm going,
Oh, Johnny.
yeah. I mean,
Was that
I'm sure
Phil?
he was just putting people on, but um,
Yeah, it was just Johnny being Johnny. But
yeah,
yeah, I have to. So I have training down in Indy Monday and Tuesday this week. I got a hotel room Sunday night because I don't like driving down the morning of. A, because you have to leave at dark 30 because you don't know what traffic's going to be like. And B, this time of year you don't know what the weather's going to be like.
this is true.
So
And
you get a room so you can get a good night's sleep. You can sleep late.
And then torture myself with 8 hours of sitting in a
Stupid.
training.
You know, OSHA training is pretty much the same. Only the factory used to feed us breakfast biscuits and a catered lunch.
So this is they're switching from Site Manager, which is the program we use now to enter in all of our daily work reports, pay items, tests, stuff like that. They're switching over to AshtaWare Project, which has been in the works for 8 years, roughly. Because I've been gone from there 6 come March. And I was one of the people helping develop it before I left in DOT.
And it's not improved much.
No, not from the sounds of it, because my boss's wife is one of the trainers. So her and Ellis Holder, who is former NDOT also, he works for another consultant agency. They were the two, like, basically gurus of Site Manager. They wrote the training manual. Ellis went around and did the trainings throughout the state. When NDOT finally said, okay, we're ready to start training for this, we need to write a user manual. Who are we going to have do it? Apparently, the general consensus in the room was we need to hire somebody from outside of NDOT to do it so it's done properly. So they hired our firm that my boss's wife works for and Michael Baker International that Ellis works for the two of them to be able to write the user manual. And now they've rehired both of them from our firms to do the trainings.
Wonderful. How did you escape this horrible task?
So I was a site manager trainer when I was at NDOT at one time. I have not escaped that horrible task, though. I will be the one most likely training our people at RQAW while Laura is off training other consultant agencies and NDOT workers throughout the state. So I haven't escaped it. I'm not the main person. Thank you, God.
I have often thought about emailing one or two of my contacts at the factory and going, well, what did they ever decide to do about not having anybody in my job after I retired? And then, discretion being the better part of valor, I asked myself one very, very valid question. Why should I care? If you want to shoot yourself in the foot, shoot yourself in the foot.
It took me a long time to get to that point. Yeah, I understand.
today would have been my second to last day at the factory a year ago. There'd be one day in February when I used up my entire 5 weeks vacation and my personal day and went back in for, well, they told me I didn't even really have to show up that day. It's just, yeah, but might as well put in a full day on the time clock, even if I'm not doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I went through and I made sure that I had copies of all my spreadsheets on my personal thumb drives, and I had bought 2 more thumb drives and put copies of everything on that, even though it was on the company network. But I put copies on a couple of thumb drives and handed them to the guy that used to be my boss, and at that time he was the assistant plant manager because he got bumped up a few steps during my last year. I go, look, don't know if you're ever going to need this. Run it through a virus check, but here you go. This is everything that I have done for y'all in the last 6 or 7 years. Starts off primitive. I've got it date coded so you just get the most up to date files, and that's what it is. I've got the training manual is in there. The other training manual they asked me to write. They did ask me to write a third training manual, but everybody I worked with at the time was going, no, we don't want to run a machine the way he does it. Because he's always
Super
sitting on his
productive.
ass reading. He's always sitting on his ass reading a book, and we're having to work our asses off. We don't want to be following him.
That'd be the book I want to read.
Seriously, basically, all
Yeah.
that one would have been fine tune the machine settings for the speed the line's running at, because it's going to be a different speed every day, and then sit down and wait for something to sound off. If the
Let the
machine ain't
machine
running
do its
right, it'll
job.
make a different noise.
Let the machine do its job.
Really, quit messing with it all the time. There's only so far you can refine the settings before you get, I turn this one up too low or too high. Once you get it lined out to where you can sit down, unless something goes wrong that you've got no control over in the back end of the plant, it'll run all day. The hardest thing you got to do is stay awake for 12 hours. You know, I don't have the faintest idea. Um, like I said, I thought about asking, and then I decided no. I did everything for them I could do. I told them if they ever need me to come back and train somebody, it's going to be $1,000 an hour, half day minimum.
Mm-hmm.
So that'd be $6 grand a day for walking in and going, you forgot to turn the machine on.
Yeah.
And
All
Pay
then,
right.
for the knowledge.
yeah, and it's the $100 an hour mechanic that walks up to the machine and hits it in one particular spot with a hammer and gets
Mm-hmm.
the machine running again. You're not paying him for the hammer. You're paying him for knowing where to hit.
Yep. All right. I'm going to jump out, Dan. I just want to drop in and aggravate you for a minute.
Mm. Well, thank you for telling me that I could have popped in my YouTube channel as well, but I just didn't know. Um, like I thought, once I hit the start stream button, there was nothing else I could add to it or detract from. So
Well, you see the edit button.
I do.
You just click it and add, or you can also stop channels.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're trying to get down to the 3
Yeah.
channel stream.
I
Oh,
just forgot to pull up your YouTube.
yeah, you might have to stop using the Dan L. Hollifield
Yeah.
Facebook, because I got a notice from Facebook that something happened on that, and they're thinking strongly about deleting the whole thing. And I'm going, well, good. I've been trying to delete that Facebook channel for a long time, and you wouldn't let me. So y'all go right ahead. There's
All
there's
right.
one without my middle initial. That's the one to use.
All right. Well, I will holler at y'all Saturday night.
Well, see you then.
All right. Good
I
night.
will try to be there.
Yes, I want to leave studio. Yes, I want to leave studio. You got to click when you when it's not when it's on your channel. You click leave studio. You got to click it 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
3
No,
different buttons.
I have to click 3 different buttons when I'm trying to leave Stupid O'Clock because the
Yep.
show is still in the end credits.
Yep. All right. Holler at y'all later.
See ya.
Alrighty. Thank you for being here. Um, uh, some of this stuff gets entirely too invasive, but I'm glad that they changed it so you could add stuff during the progress of a show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I could even start streaming to my channel right now, one of my channels right now, if I wanted to.
And it wouldn't affect Joe Dog's account whatsoever. That's
Mm-hmm.
entirely since you're a guest, you have the StreamYard ability to do that.
Yep. So apparently, Wayne Osmond, singer and guitarist of the Osmonds, passed away.
Yes, Lindsay was crying about that earlier. She's always had a crush on Donnie, but as she got a little older, she said, "I'm going for the gray-haired old dude." Uh, there's only so long Tiger Beat and Teen Magazine can formulate your opinions.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that is, well, he had a good long run.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, we're we're slated to get a winter storm Sunday into Monday. It's
Hmm.
supposed to start Sunday morning.
A lot of us got the warning from Josh going, "This don't look good for where y'all live."
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to get far enough down south to affect me. So I'm thinking uh, tomorrow and Saturday is going to be taken up with. We may need to go shopping before everybody realizes we need to go shopping.
Mm-hmm.
Grocery stores.
Well, they're
And
saying Indy's slated for 12 plus inches with this storm.
that's
And
only about this much.
yeah, that's what I've been telling the wife for years. Anyway, but I really don't want to drive down I-65 in the snow even on a Sunday.
I
So,
wouldn't recommend it. No. Driving down any road in the snow is not going to be a safe experience.
so I spent a little extra money and got a hotel room for Saturday night. So I'm actually going to leave out here Saturday, spend the weekend in Indy, so that I'm already down there for Monday morning for the training. And if my boss calls me on Sunday morning and says, "Hey, due to that storm, they're canceling everything," I'm going to be pissed.
I imagine so.
Because at
Yeah,
that point,
well, at least
I'm,
at least the hotel's got a hot tub.
I'm going to check out, and I will not take I-65 back north. I will take the state highways back north. Or I might take 65 until I'm at least up by closer to BKM, up by Lafayette,
Yeah.
and then hop off onto the state highway system from there. because looking at the forecast models, it's that'd be about the right place to get off. And yeah, I'd see people already can't drive on a little bit of snow that we're getting tonight.
You want a good laugh? Look at what happens when 3 flakes of snow hit Atlanta.
Oh yeah.
Not only can nobody drive, but for 7 counties around the middle of the city, there's not a gallon of milk, a carton of eggs, or a loaf of bread to be had. And like I said in Stupid O'Clock, why is it that we got conditioned to where we've got to make French toast every time it snows? And Joe Dog's right. If it does come to power outages and stuff like that, and we need to cook, I'm gonna have to use my little cast iron stove outside, which I have done before. And well, not this particular stove, but I have cooked outside in a snowstorm before.
Yeah.
But I have had advance warning from Cowboy Kent Rollins that do not be surprised if you chuck a couple of lumps of coal and some firewood in there. If it gets really warm standing around, even though you don't have any walls in that shed, just a roof over it. So I'm prepared to dress up warm till the fire gets going good, and then trump back inside and put on a little bit lighter clothes. Hopefully a windbreaker, because that'll be the big thing is the wind chill.
I'm looking at the traffic cameras, and the road was was good until the accident happened, and now the plows can't get through. Southbound looks pretty. Northbound looks horrid right now, but they can't get through northbound.
Was it Chris or Joe that posted something on Facebook about 2 18-wheelers within a mile of each other had gone sideways across the road? And I don't remember which one of them posted it. They're going, it ain't even raining. Why did this happen? Let's see what you got there. Let me pull up this screen. Ooh, that does not look good.
Yeah, one jackknife semi and a couple of other crashes. They got the big wreckers out there to pull the semis.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of driving through Raleigh, Durham in the snow one time, and there's jackknife trucks, there's cars, whatever. Everybody in the median, police cars everywhere. I'm in the slow lane doing about 30 at the most. People whizzing by me in the fast lane, and I'm watching them be the next ones to slide off into the median. Just because that's a home of NASCAR does not mean you have to drive like you're in a race right then.
You'll appreciate this one.
Yes, I do believe people need that. Especially down here when you're not even aware that they actually have blinkers.
Well, I'm a firm believer that in some sections of the South, that's actually a added feature to vehicles. Like it's an extra, cost, like getting the heated seats.
Well, it could rightly be. I think it's just because there's a great deal of ignorance and stupidity down here, but
I was trying to be nice.
I don't have to be. I'm retired. Nobody talks to me anyway. Oh, no, I'll be the first to admit Southerners do not know how to drive in extreme weather or even moderately bad weather sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But, it is what it is. It's a self-correcting situation. If you drive stupid, you've got a whole lot of record bills and body shop and paint shop repairs to take care of. And your insurance is going to go, did you drive stupid? Yeah, sorry. We're not paying for it. It's coming out of your pocket. By the way, we're raising your rates.
Mm-hmm.
Your policy does not cover stupid people.
Oh, the Willow sent me a thing earlier on Facebook for the yearly multiverse fundraiser they do
Mm-hmm.
for kids. She asked me to share it on my shows, but apparently that's coming up Friday, January 24th through Sunday, January 26th.
Good information to know, even though I'm not in the neighborhood.
Well, it's all on. I think it's all online. Yeah, it's all online.
Yeah.
So I might have to try and tune into some of those. Yeah, a lot. Good God, they got a lot of stuff planned out.
Well, if this turns out the way it's threatening to turn out, I'm probably going to have to restock my charcoal, coal, and firewood.
Mm-hmm.
Which is all right. I can just wander off into the woods and take my little electric chainsaw and go, I don't like this tree. It offends me.
It offends the senses.
Plus, it's good firewood. I wish I could say that about sweet gum trees because I'd love to get all of those out of here. And I do know better than to use pine
Mm-hmm.
in a stove with a metal chimney because that chimney's going to have to be cleaned out really often. Not only is it going to soot it up real badly, but it's going to put pine tar all over the inside,
Mm-hmm.
which is harder to clean off.
Yep, because I can definitely tell when I'm doing a wood burning piece on a piece of pine because I'm constantly cleaning that wood burning tip off,
Yep.
trying to get all that extra buildup off there.
Yeah, that will blur your lines quite a bit. And he says, looking at the bedroom where his wife is sleeping, Lindsay may reconsider my wanting to get a large power bank to run the fridge and a couple of heaters, electric heaters,
Mm-hmm.
and some solar panels to recharge them with a little bit less expensively. But we shall see. Oh, that reminds me, I should go and unpack the car battery jump port
Mm-hmm.
and give that a good recharge just in case I need to run a heater off of it because I can plug up a heater to it. It's not recommended, but then a little space heater it probably only run for a few hours, but good grief,
Yeah,
it's better than wearing a snowsuit in the house.
that's true.
But no more than we would actually need it. She thought it would be too expensive.
Mhm.
So she vetoed that. But if we are in an extended period without electric power, she may reconsider and rescind the veto.
Mm-hmm.
And I know several companies that make some really, really good ones, and they will hold a charge for a long time and they will recharge quickly if you got enough solar panels or if you've got a generator of some kind. And I just cannot. I would like to have a generator, but no more than I would need it.
Yeah.
I probably have to buy a new one every snowstorm.
Yeah. I'm hoping that sometime in the next few years that we can refinance the house, get a little bit lower interest rate, and get some money out of the equity of the home, and go through and have the electric upgraded here. One, because it'll save me on insurance.
Yes.
Two, it'll get me off the screw-in fuses, which are much more resilient than I imagined they'd be.
Well, there's a reason they were invented first.
The, uh, and then I'd also have the house upgraded to 200 amp service instead of just 100 amp. But be able to get all the plugs replaced so that we actually have more than just three-pronged plugs throughout the whole house.
Hmm. Yep, that was one thing I was glad about my mobile home. It required 400 amp breaker box, and it had a good fuse box in it.
Mm-hmm.
The trailer had a good fuse box as well. Their breaker panel,
Yeah.
and not the screw in. I've seen so many redneck solutions to having a blown fuse. I'm not dumb enough to put a rifle cartridge in a fuse holder. Because when that
No,
one blows, it's going to be a danger.
nothing could go wrong there.
Oh,
Oh, Lord.
I know. Rednecks do the dumbest things, but sometimes the dumb things work, even though they're extremely dangerous.
Yeah. That's one of the things I'm hoping for, because our house insurance, well, apparently insurance across Indiana went up, across the board for home insurance. But it's tacking on like damn near an extra $100 to my mortgage per month.
Yeah.
And the only way for us to get a cheaper rate, because we are on a higher than normal rate because we have the screw-in fuses, is to get the electric upgraded and have breakers. So it's one of those things that it'll come in time. Just hopefully the time is sooner rather than later.
Yes. That was one thing about I was glad that I had finally paid off the mortgage And as soon as that was done, I started throwing money in the bank right and left. And anytime I had to work overtime, if it was above what I needed for bills that month,
Hmm.
it went into savings. So now I wouldn't say extremely well off, but I'm better off than I was when Lindsay and I first got together or any time previously that I lived on my own.
Hmm.
But yeah, that and the fierce determination not to take out a bank loan for a new vehicle. Uh, if I've got it sitting there and I'm already retired, I don't see any reason to get a bank loan because my mom was adamant that I should not have paid cash for the last three vehicles we bought. She wanted me to take out a bank loan. I'm going, been there, done that. Uh, the T-shirts are ugly, so I didn't buy one. Um,
Oh, that, and if you go to an actual dealership, you can haggle them down some and then go, well, what's your bottom price for cash? You know, I mean, when one of the girls in my class, when she got old enough to get her license, her dad went in the dealership, and her dad had money. He had just loads of money. Bought her a Dale Earnhardt edition Monte Carlo for her first car.
Sweet.
So he went in, and this man could haggle with the best of them, and he haggled him down, and then goes, well, what would you give me for trade in on this vehicle? You know, what would you knock off? So they haggled that. Then he goes, okay, so how much cash out the door? Yeah, he got them way down in price on that vehicle.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
That's one reason why I was glad that I just went to CarMax
Mhm.
and I go, hey, what's your best deal? Um, this suits my needs. Uh, and they go, oh well, we can get you in touch with savings and loan or finance company. And I'm going, no, no, no. Do y'all take an ATM card? And they go, sir, yes, sir.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's what I did. I just put it directly out of the checking account and
Yep.
went went to the insurance and did the same thing for 6 months worth of insurance on it. I pay it half a year at a time instead of monthly. Some
Yep.
people prefer monthly, but um, I just rather not worry about it. Um, and yeah, I own it free and clear. The title is on its way from the county seat. New license plates on its way from the county seat. Matter of fact, my insurance agent did me a solid. He said, "Look, you've had that van since 2007. You've never made a claim on it whatsoever. Now, how about if I write you out a new policy for the van with it being a damn near an antique now, and then we transfer the existing policy from the van to the pickup truck, and that will save you a bunch of money."
Mhm.
I said, "Write it out. I'll sign it."
Yep.
So yeah, because I had to get full coverage on the truck because it is so new.
Yeah.
Insurance company didn't ask me to do it. It's just something I felt like I needed to do, especially after that little girl hit us at a traffic intersection and I had to pay for the body work on the Toyota myself
Yeah.
because it wasn't a hit and run, so I couldn't use my existing insurance because I had just liability and uninsured drivers, and just the minimum. If I'd had collision on there too, it'd be more expensive, but they
Yeah.
would have covered it. But that would have raised my rates.
Yep.
So we got that taken care of. And actually, the body work and the paint job was a good $1,000 less than the estimate, and it looks great.
That that's always nice when it comes in under estimate.
And about
Oh.
4 days earlier than what they expected to get the work done.
Okay, eyelashes. Why are you trying to betray me? Stop it.
Mm. Evidently, the most expensive thing was matching the original Toyota paint job.
Yeah.
Because that had to be some of the paint colors that were mixed in had to be measured in milliliters per gallon. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going, well, I hope somebody else has got a red Toyota that needs whatever you got left
No
before it
shit.
dries up. Um, but it looks gorgeous. It's back to being showroom condition. Um, they did really, really good work. Um, I think the most wasteful part of it was that the company that they bought the replacement plastic hubcaps from, you could only buy them in 4s. Only needed one,
But
so
you had to
now
get all 4.
I've got the 3 original undamaged hubcaps
Mm-hmm.
in a box, and I'm going, yeah, well, I could probably put that up on uh, Etsy or whatever.
Facebook Marketplace, eBay. They'll sell. Somebody will buy them.
Yeah, eBay. Yeah, that'd be my first thing because I haven't sold anything on eBay in ages. They'd be glad to have me put something up. It means they'd be able to send me more email.
Mm-hmm.
But for right now, the plan is just to put that box with the 3 good hubcaps in the barn. Repairman pointed out those aren't the original ones anyway. They don't match.
Mm-hmm.
They don't even match each other, much less the car. So now we've got the correct ones for that make and model,
Mm-hmm.
and they're all on there and they're undamaged, and I've got the 3 spares. Um, you know, and if nothing else, I got some really pretty frisbees.
Yeah, this is true. Oh, trying to get my back to pop. It's not
Yeah,
working.
I've been trying to pop my neck for I don't know how long here today. Sometimes it will cooperate, sometimes it will not. Uh, oh, come on, Midland. You want me to write a review for a CB radio? It's a CB radio. It either does what it needs to do, or you wouldn't be selling it.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's one thing I haven't installed yet. I'm trying to figure a way to keep from having to drill a hole in the truck cab for the
Yeah.
cable because it's not going to be able to be a small hole.
Yeah.
I'll figure it out. I've done it on everything else I've had a CB radio on.
It doesn't seem like CBs get used much up here anymore.
Well, they don't. Well, they don't down here either, unless you got an 18-wheeler. But they are invaluable when you run up at the tail end of a traffic jam and you need to know what lane you need to get in right now, because doesn't matter if the other one's moving faster, if you got to remerge back into the one you were in, that's going to be a headache.
Mm-hmm. And people just don't understand that.
When you see a sign says lane ends in 1,000 yards, why not get over as quickly as you can?
And in theory, the zipper merge is a good thing. What people don't realize is that for the zipper merge to work, you can't all be on the ass, right up on the ass of the vehicle in front of you.
Hmm. Somebody's got to go, well, they're going a little bit faster than me. I'll slow down and let them get in.
Yeah. And that's that's the thing. If people were actually following at the safe distance that we were taught, in driver's ed, then the merge would
It'd be,
flow seamlessly.
yeah, it'd be frictionless.
Yeah.
But there's always somebody that comes up in the other lane and wants to drag race to the merge point.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, Georgia DOT has started putting in just the reflective striped lines and shortening the length of the merge that you used to have. So it just kind of congests things right there. They made the bottleneck worse.
Yep.
It's not a gooseneck anymore. You got to do it quick, or somebody going to pull out in front of you, and you got to slam on the brakes, and hopefully the person behind you is not too close, because they're just there are a lot of people that don't believe in manners while driving,
Yeah.
or defensive driving for that matter. I can't tell you how many expensive sports cars I've seen in Atlanta go from the ultra fast lane over to an exit without a turn signal in less than 50 feet
Yeah.
linear distance. Uh,
We actually had to extend when they were doing 8094 a couple of years ago when they were on the eastbound side working. They had to extend the closure out further because people were in the third and fourth lane trying to cut across all lanes of traffic to still make the I-65 exit,
mm-hmm.
even though there was 5 signs leading up to the lane split saying no exit to I-65. Well, no exits. There was no exit to I-65. There was no exit between basically Klein and 65 if you're in one of the left 2 lanes. And people they'd come out and they'd cut across, get into an accident, traffic's backed up. And then, of course, we get blamed for it. It's the road construction. They don't know how to set it up. No, you idiots don't know how to read goddamn signs.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons why I think for a lot of people around here, OSHA training ought to be mandatory from elementary school on. Just learn learn how to use a fire extinguisher, um, learn how to get over in the right lane that you need for your exit.
Mm-hmm.
learn to pull over if there's an ambulance or a police car behind you with the lights and siren going instead of trying to outrun them down the road. That's never a good idea.
And for the love of God, if you're on the interstate, do not try to pull off onto the shoulder to allow the police or ambulance to get past, especially if traffic is flowing,
Yes.
because they will find their way through, whether they use the shoulders or whatnot. One of my wife's friends, God love her, she is one of the smartest dumb people I know. She thought that even on the interstate, if there was an emergency vehicle coming, you had to pull off onto the shoulder. Sure, you can do that. That's a good way to get yourself killed. You can do it. They'll have to stop and pick you up first before they head to wherever they're heading to.
Oh, I was coming back from a convention in Chattanooga once, and there was this sudden summer squall, just tremendous downpour of rain.
Mm.
And enough cars got into accidents and went off into the median, which was at that time about 100-foot deep canyon in between the paved roads.
Mm.
And I'm sitting there. I go, I'm going to be here a while. So I get over in the slow lane. I throw the truck into park. I turn it off. Um, I'm sitting there waiting on any progress, watching some idiot in a Jeep get on the outside uh, emergency lane and slide down into the ditch. I mean, it's like he planned to do it as a Hollywood stunt movie thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sitting there, breakdown lane is right there next to me. Police cars and ambulances going by in the breakdown lane, and I'm going, well, I'm damn glad I didn't get over in that.
Mm-hmm.
So I sat there. Hell, I managed to drink a beer and still had 2 hours to get sober before I had to drive again. It took a long time to get that mess cleared out.
Oh, yeah.
Normally, I would not, if I was driving, I would not have a beer, but it looked like it was going to be backed up for several hours. And yes, indeed, it was about 4 to be exact. So I go, well, I got a cooler back here with stuff left over from the convention. I'll just be very, very quiet and hunt Elmers here. And then, limited myself to one. Several hours passed before traffic started moving again. It was still slow because people were rubbernecking and forgot how to drive.
Mm-hmm.
But, it worked out. Didn't wreck my truck. Didn't cause anybody else to have a wreck. Didn't get hit by a police car or ambulance. Didn't get pulled over. I guess I win for that day.
Yeah.
I was shaking like a leaf the whole way home, though, because the entire experience was terrifying. I mean, watching so many people do stupid things and realizing they're going to wind up in the emergency room.
Mm-hmm.
It just sets your nerves on edge. You can't help them. You can't do anything because you're not a first responder of any kind, not even from the factory. I was never one of the first responders.
Yeah.
But I did pay particular attention to the fire extinguisher training classes and things like that. So when we actually had a box fan catch fire in the window of my office here and try and set the house on fire, I jumped out of bed, ran to the kitchen, got the closest fire extinguisher, ran back, put out the fire. Lindsay's still on the phone with emergency services. They're telling her to get out of the house. She's going, I can't leave my dog in the house. It's a poodle. He's elderly. And they're going, well, grab the dog and get out. And she goes, well, what about my husband? She's lady on the other end of the phone says, if he's dumb enough to stay in there with the fire, get out of the house and leave him. You'll inherit what's left. And volunteer fire department showed up, looked around the room with a infrared sensor, put out a little burning notebook paper that I hadn't noticed.
Mm-hmm.
I got one of the electricians from the factory come over and check the electrical outlet that fan was plugged into to make sure it hadn't damaged the wiring. He goes, no, it's fine, don't worry. And the local commander of the volunteer fire department said, you did a great job there. You did a great job. We'd be happy to have you join the volunteer fire department. But one thing, you will have to wear pants. Because I was stark naked when I ran down the hallway to get the fire extinguisher and come back. Oh, yeah. There's not that many nude firefighters. I understand. It's kind of a safety hazard. But
no, but you'd be the most popular one in that year's calendar. Look at the hose on that firefighter.
Oh yeah,
he can extinguish my flames whenever he wants.
Well, that was kind of what my wife would be afraid of. Yeah. I was just glad that day ended well. All we had to do was replace a window, and I had a guitar synthesizer that got slightly melted. I gave that to one of the guys in the Extraordinary Contraptions at a steampunk convention in Atlanta. I said, look, I took my pocket knife to it. All the buttons work. The unit isn't damaged. It's just got this one little spot on the neck where it looks kind of weird. And he goes, this is a $500 guitar synthesizer. I don't care. I don't know if they ever used it, but he was glad to have something that had, I think it was 12 to 14 different instrument voices in it. And some of them were obscure stringed instruments that he wanted to get a hold of, but couldn't afford to buy, like a borzouki and banjo and things like that. He actually went out and bought himself a banjo after that too. Well, it was a little bit difficult to play because it didn't have any strings on the neck. It just had push buttons. So you couldn't really play it like a guitar. It had strings to strum, but they were only about that long in on the body. It had a whammy bar, which I immediately detached because it wouldn't stay in tune with that thing on it. You move it a little, it never went back to zero. I bought myself another copy. Same thing. I get it out and mess with it occasionally. It's still entirely too hard to play. Once you get used to an actual guitar or an actual bass, the push button things there's just something cognitive dissonance about it.
Yeah. Well, I did manage to get the first 60, well, just shy of 60 rather, of Nick's BSR units printed out for IndieCDCon. I've been working, well, the other day I was printing off the heavy BSRs, which take a little bit longer because they are a slightly more intricate model. But I'm planning to try and get about 30 of each other model printed off before March. We'll see if I can pull that off.
Hey, it
'Cause
just takes time.
There's one set, because I've finally figured out how to get that machine to do a plate of 9. And there's some of them that's going to take like 13 hours just to do a plate of 9.
Mm. But as you
So
said, they are more intricate.
yeah,
And you've also learned how to redo the interior supports in the design, so it doesn't take you so much effort to get everything.
plucked off.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah,
You want
using that
to
tree
tell it
support,
to go pluck off. Yeah.
using that tree support system is so much nicer than all these little fucking
Mm.
ribbon supports. But so I'm gonna try and get 30 of each model printed off, and then I'm going to print off. And I already showed Nick this. I resized one of the heavy BSRs to be a 6-inch tall model that he
Oh,
can use as a trophy for the tournament. That's going to be a 30-hour print.
I hesitate to think how long Joe Dog spent on 3D printing the imitation Grammy Award that he gave me.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Cap.
Hey, Cap.
Because you were there, you know what happened. It was a beautiful model until it suddenly encountered gravity.
I would say probably about 6 hours, if I'm remembering the size of it correctly.
Mm-hmm. Plus, he had to change filament colors halfway through.
Yeah. Well, I don't. It might have been printed as all one piece. I don't know if that was all one piece or if the bell might have been separate and kind of slotted in somehow.
I don't know. Lindsay saved all the fragments, and when we got home, she didn't tell me she was doing it, but she fixed it. And it's up on the entertainment center, and she goes, I know we've got to put Christmas decorations up there, but I don't want to take a chance moving that thing. Oh.
Yeah, I knew he was doing that for you for a few months before Hallowcon. Because he actually got a hold of me on Facebook. He's like, hey, jump into the StreamYard link real quick. And of course, I had to make sure, it was actually StreamYard and not a Rickroll. But so I hopped in the StreamYard with him, and he goes, you guys are coming down for Hallowcon, right? I said, yeah. He goes, all right, here's what I'm going to need you to do. I'm like, oh, you're pulling me in on this. Okay. But, I'm going to print off that BSR for Nick, and if I get it done soon enough before NDCD-Con, I'm going to go out and get some gold spray paint and spray paint it gold.
Make it into a real trophy.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's going to turn out looking really cool. But yeah, these tree supports have been so much easier. And I need to sit down and actually figure out a good way to transport all these, because right now I'm just tossing them into a box.
Well, I can tell you from experience this week, bubble wrap in a plastic bag ain't gonna cut it.
Yeah. Especially for these little guys, because some of the when you're printing them off as 1-inch tall models, the actual turrets on them are so tiny that they're easy to break. They're easy to snap if something hits them, most likely, or crushes them.
Yeah.
I've actually dropped a few of them on the floor here, picked them up, and went, well, looks like it's still attached.
Imagine you could get. You probably had to look up where to get them from, but little jewelry boxes
Mm,
like the stores use to sell small things in. Um, might be worth looking into, might not. Just depends
yeah,
on how much they charge for them.
yeah. Well, once I get through Indie CD Con and Nick and I have a chance to sit down and talk numbers, I'll probably work on getting a backlog printed
Mm.
that can then be sold online. And just Nick and I figure out, what the cuts are going to be as far as, what price point are we going to sell them at, and what percentage goes to me, what percentage goes to him.
Hmm.
So,
Point of order. Cap, that's up to Joe Dog. You convince him, I will be allowed to let you in.
mm,
I can't make that decision. It's his channel, even though my name's on it. Um, yeah, he's the boss. Uh, I don't even contribute that much financially anymore because he thought, ooh, that one year I was the major stockholder in Stupid O'Clock. He didn't like that one bit. Uh,
oh,
so I can help him out a little bit, but he doesn't want me to be footing the bill because he knows decisions would be up to me and he wouldn't agree with some of them. So mm, it is what it is. I can't. I can only do what I can do.
yep.
That'd be great.
Yeah,
That'd be great, Cap. Send it on. Yeah. I have not blocked you. I rarely block anybody except uh, porn bots and spam bots. I mean, I don't see any reason. Uh, hell, there's people I don't get along with very well that I still have uh, okayed on my Facebook. Um, not for any particular reason that I don't get along with them. It's just, eh, sometimes they get a particular idea in their head, and it's not a philosophy that I agree with. Like some of the political stuff, there's people that they're still on my Facebook even though I disagree with their politics.
yeah.
I don't see that's any reason to throw them out with the bathwater. Yeah, we did
Yep.
get the letter read, and I'm glad you're getting some good counseling. That will help you tremendously. I know back when I was um, first beginning to consider the need for a divorce for my first wife, I went and saw a counselor, and it was pretty much a case of ain't nothing wrong with you, dump the bitch. Uh, Give her whatever she thinks she wants, but get the paperwork signed, which is pretty much what I did. I managed to keep the stove and the fridge. She wanted to take those and take them down and sell them. I'm going, no, I have to eat. Let's see what you got there. Ha! Makes you wonder what the ulterior motive is there.
Mm-hmm. I love. There's a newsletter I've been subscribed to for years called How to Geek, and most of the time I don't even read half the articles that they have out. I just scroll down to the little daily comic.
Mhm. Oh, something I wanted to mention. You know of my interest in the British canal boats and the canal system they got over there.
Mhm.
One of the canals had a major breach,
Uh-oh.
busted out the side, flooded about
Mm.
500 homes, and what looks to me like it's either oil or gas storage field
Mhm.
of the really tall, well, I mean, 4 to 5 story tall silos with whatever in it, and boats sitting on the bottom of the canal amid the rocks, tilted sideways, and it could be they will be trapped there for 6 months to a year before that can be repaired.
Oh.
Yeah, and every week they have to refill their water tank. They either have to pump out their toilet or they have to go empty the portable cassette toilets.
Mhm.
They have to get groceries. Um, it's just I'm sitting there going, and all that was because of the 2 tropical storms that roared through there November and December and flooded everything, and all of that water runs into the canal. And there was one point that was really not reinforced um, as well as one would wish, but it is, 200-year-old system. It's had time to need a little bit of improvement.
Yeah.
Uh, no, you didn't tell us you were moving up to Tennessee. Whereabouts in Tennessee, Cap? Uh, yeah, and it's a tragic situation. There's one guy that's making mint off of drone footage he got the day that it actually happened.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure every media outlet is
The
chomping at the bit.
Times, BBC, they're going, hey, here, take my money. We're going to license this, please.
Yep.
And yep, he'll be able to keep his family in groceries and water no matter how long it goes on, and it's winter time.
Yep.
What water is left is about to get frozen solid. But they're sitting on rocks on the side
Yeah.
of the canal. East of Knoxville. I probably know the area well. Morristown. Don't know that one by name, but then they've been changing names on stuff up there since I lived north of Knoxville. Um, yeah,
I
it's
I
it's
remember I remember seeing an exit sign for that when I was heading to Hallowcon through Tennessee, I think.
wouldn't doubt it. Wouldn't doubt it. Um, yeah, it's going to be a real pain for everybody impacted, and there's like 50 to 100 boats that just happened to be there that night because it was raining and they wanted to moor up and not be trying to drive in the dark in the rain. One of them, it's a really long boat. It came unmoored and swung all the way across the canal. So it's got the tail
Oh.
ended on one side of the canal and the nose end of it up against somebody else's boat.
Mm.
And it served as a makeshift dam to slow the water drainage. Kept going underneath the boat, but sooner or later it got low enough to where there wasn't that much going down through the canal anymore, and this guy's boat's just sitting there totally grounded. You can't you would need a big crane to come in and put it back on the bank or lift it out and take it someplace else on a truck, which is expensive. But yeah, it's a tragic situation. Nobody's died.
That's good.
Yes, even in the houses that were flooded, nobody's died, but the property damage is horrendous.
Oh, I can imagine. And I doubt, well, I don't know how insurance works over there, but I'm fairly certain they probably didn't have flood insurance.
I don't know. Some of the houses would,
Yeah.
but I know the boats don't have any kind of canal breach insurance. But they do have insurance that
Unexpected dry dock.
unexpected act of God.
Yeah.
Yeah, and their insurance probably will cover damage from suddenly not having water under the boat anymore. Um, I mean, that's standard. Well, not having water under the boat isn't standard, but
Well,
unexpected damage to the boat. Yeah.
one day they'll be able to say that's just all water under the bridge.
Unfortunately, it was water over the bridge. Oh, what do we got here? I got to go to the beer fridge. Um, you must be the tech reaper since my computer is old. I've been expecting you. Oh dear. Yeah. And then I remember I've still got two that run Windows XP. I don't ever plug them in and turn them on anymore, but I've still got them. One
Hey, they're
day
good.
those things will be valuable.
Yep.
Uh, and one of
Yeah.
them is a netbook. They
Oh,
don't
I
even make
loved
those anymore.
those.
They don't even make those anymore. This netbook is they don't even make those anymore. And I got the one with the oversized battery. So it would hold a charge all day long.
Yeah. No, I remember when we first got those in at Staples. And God, were they, some of those were so quick.
I know.
Even with running the Intel Atom processors. I think it was Intel Atom.
I
And
don't know
then
if
they
it's
started coming out with the ones that had the actual solid state drives in them, and they just booted instantly.
Mm-hmm. You thought about turning it on and the screen lit up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those. I wanted one of those so bad back then.
Well, let's see, that was the first year we were going to England for Lindsay's dad's funeral. and I knew some of these antique think pads that I had salvaged from work
Hmm.
not going to cut it. So I went ahead and bought this thing. It was great. Even bought a special transformer so I could use the British power supply and charge it up. I had to I had to pay extra for my luggage weight because of that thing because it was almost 12 pounds. Uh, but yeah, I had to plug a transformer right into the British mains, plug the
So,
power supply, the netbook into a regular U.S. outlet strip.
mhm.
I'm good to go.
So here's a fun little How To Geek also generally posts like a fun little fact at the beginning of their emails. In December of 2014, two con men from Girona, Spain, agreed to sell a fake Francisco de Goya painting for 4 million euros. But unbeknownst to them, the purchaser was a con man himself, and the down payment of 1.5 million euros they received from him were counterfeit.
Oh,
Is there no honor among thieves anymore?
no, there isn't, and there never was. But you know, what comes around goes around. Um, oh, I looked at the time and go, "Oh, we've only got 5 minutes left." Wait a minute. Just because Joe Dog cut himself down to an hour and a half doesn't mean I can't go 2 hours.
This is true.
Uh,
Oh.
oh no, I've got to start making out a shopping list um, before tomorrow morning. Um, I need to know what we actually need in the cabinets,
Mm.
canned goods most especially, because power goes out, freezer ain't gonna be lasting long.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah, the wife and I, before I head down to Indy on Saturday, after we get up and go to breakfast, we're going to do the shopping and stuff Saturday that we would normally do on Sunday. That way she doesn't have to go out on Sunday to do it.
yes.
So,
Um,
and I got to remember to power just in case the storm tracks north and we have any power fluctuations here. I need to remember to shut down my little command center down here.
yep. And I've already got Lindsay and I both have a couple of power bricks, and either one of them will charge an iPad from 0 to full
Hmm.
3 times before it goes dead. Plus, I've got solar cells to charge it with, and the lack of being able to plug it in takes a long
Actually,
time.
that's what I need to do. I need to actually pull that out of my truck. I have a power inverter that I had bought for my truck when I was having issues with the cigarette lighter port that runs on uh, my drill batteries. And I need to go out and grab that from the truck and get all the batteries charged up. That way, if we lose power here, she can at least keep her cell phone charged.
Yep, I'm going to charge up my two um, chainsaw batteries because I have a nice uh, electric chainsaw, and Lindsay's got a little hand drill size one too. Charge up both batteries for that and everything else. I had a UPS, and oh, it was almost unnecessary for its entire life. except for one day, which is, the reason you buy it. That one day things don't work.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, Cap. The UPS would run the phones for days, but these little power bricks that we've got, they will also charge up a cell phone from 0 to full charge in a short amount of time, at least twice as long as they will power up an iPad. So we're kind of prepared. We're prepared with lamp oil lamps, candles, things like that for brief power outages. In an emergency, I have my old kerosene heater in the barn. It will stink up the house to high heaven, but if we have to have it, and then like I said, I'm hoping that if we do have a power outage, Lindsay will unveto buying um, a power bank that I can get one with big solar panels and have it recharge from that or household electricity or whatever, and just be, you know, never have the refrigerator need to be emptied because all the food's spoiled. Because that'd be the big thing that I would want it for. We couldn't run the big stuff like the dryer or the oven and stove, even though it might have plug-ins for those. Only the dryer has an actual plug. And believe me, that thing is so heavy, I'm not pulling it out from the wall to get to the electrical supply. The
Mm-hmm.
stove's hardwired into the house. Um, now, there's one company, they have a 5,000 watt, a 10,000 watt, and a 15,000 watt power bank that you can plug up together.
Ooh.
That would run my whole house. Just, run a drop cord from that to a plug in the wall. That room's
Mm-hmm.
got electricity. Um, I've been a lot of people on the boat videos have been sent these things to test them out. And they go, look, I wouldn't tell you it was good unless it's good. This is the best one that I've ever used. I've used several. I'm going, okay. uh, well, yeah, I've got the Nick. You're actually more correct than you know. I've got the cast iron stove outside. I can put on a snowsuit and go out there and I can burn wood, coal, charcoal, whatever it takes to heat up food. And I have a barbecue grill, charcoal barbecue grill that I built out of concrete blocks and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
I know for a fact I've done it before. Um, I have lived in situations where I had running water, but no electricity because I couldn't get anybody to come in and install the power pole
Mm-hmm.
and do the wiring on that to get electricity to the mobile home. Finally, got my brother on a day when he wasn't busy. He was a certified electrician at that time. Came out, wired it up in one afternoon. I dug a post hole and put that sucker up, and I was never so proud to see electric lights again after months without it. Uh, oh, thank you for reminding me. Um,
And good
I
evening, Nick.
act I actually have a I have a bottle gas camp stove that I bought as an emergency measure, and I have about 4 or 5 of the smaller canisters of the gas. So yeah, we could probably get by with that. I probably had to cook on the front porch to make sure carbon monoxide doesn't get dangerous in the house. We
Yeah.
can't use it to heat the house, but I can set that up and cook on that too. So I've got like 3 different ways of cooking. Uh, Glad to have you, Nick. You must be suffering from your natural insomnia to be awake at this time of night. Oh, well, no, it's actually an hour later for
He's
you.
uh yeah, he's on the same time zone as you. He's Eastern.
Oh, he is Eastern. What are you doing
Yeah.
up after midnight? Um,
Yeah, he's in the wrong part of the time zone for the state of Indiana. Ah,
well, I started to say sane people are in bed by now, but then I'm going, Joe and I are still up.
mm.
It's probably not a good optic there. Uh, yeah, I've forgotten all about that stove because we've had it ready to go several times, and power came back on before we ever had to cook anything on it. So none of those natural gas bottles or natural gas, none of those. It's probably LP gas more than natural gas. I'm not really sure there's a big distinction between the two, but um, and I also have a uh, gas torch for electrical soldering back here, which I do believe would also work. It's just I have to take it outside. Can't risk the carbon monoxide. Um, I'd forgotten about that. Lindsay'd probably want to use it to try and heat the house, and I'm going, no, honey, that ain't safe. We might never wake up again. So yeah, we'll just we got cold weather gear we can wear. We got blankets all over the house. You just be missing out on your soap operas, and I'd be missing out on the internet. That's about it. Because if we don't have power,
hmm
the router's not going to work either.
Nope.
So yeah, and if we
And
don't
that's
have
what some
power,
people forget.
yes, if we don't have power, chances are the landline is not going to work either. But that's why we have cell phones.
hmm
Won't be able, excuse me, won't be able to do a show, but you know, doing a show would be the least of my worries at the time, and checking Facebook would be the least of my worries at the time.
Yeah.
Just have to trust that everybody is made preparations.
Ah.
I've got enough wood already cut up to last about 3 days. And as I said, there's still oak on my land I could harvest in an emergency, which would be great for cooking on.
hmm
And if necessary, might have to get rid of some of those sweet gum trees, not the one in the front that protects us from the car crashes, but there's plenty of others that I'd love to see gone. Uh, just have to move the cars and drop them where they'll fall.
Oh, that's what that was.
Well, Nick, we were talking about CB just earlier because I've got one in the van. I got another one I haven't installed yet for the truck. But yeah, um, that could come in handy. We could get to Channel 9 with one of those and go, hey, we got a problem. Is there anybody available? I mean, seriously, if I have to walk to the store in the snow again, I'm not as young and spry as I used to be. Um, and the last time, it was not comfortable. I mean, I was warm enough, but um, it had iced up overnight, and some of that snow people had walked on before it iced up, but it did make it a little bit treacherous. Um, well, now and Cap, we've also got Uncle Carl who can tutor people on ham radio and other things in that genre.
Mhm.
Uh, what brought on the? We got advance warning that we're going to be facing a couple of severe winter storms back to back, and yeah, it's weather. It's weather.
Mhm.
Current events don't worry me that much. We got a big polar vortex coming up, and it might be better where y'all are, Nick, Joe, Trey, Carl, and Donna. Might be better up there than it is down here because it's dipping extra low
Mhm.
as per the uh, forecast. I mean, Josh is keeping us appraised of the situation as it develops.
Yep.
Uh, but well, dropping to the teens in Georgia, it's not that rare. Um, Dropping to the teens in places where it's not in the middle of the mountains is a little bit rare, but people have been warned that they might need to go out to their citrus fruit fields and soak those trees in water so that they'll freeze up and not actually damage the trees themselves very much. The fruit might be ruined, but um, Orlando in the 40s Thursday and Friday. Yeah, we're talking about Sunday, so that's when we expect to get it. So we're well, and Cap, you may be talking about Thursday and Friday next week, 9th and 10th. Yes, that is next week. That would be in the middle of the second storm.
Mhm.
So yeah, but you know, I've still got all the gear that used to keep me warm at work when it got down way down cold in the middle of the night, in the middle of the winter. I've got enough gear to keep me warm, pretty much down to about minus 35 Fahrenheit. Um, won't like sitting here in the house in that, but I've also got one of those uh, K-Pop mountain man coats with a hood and gloves. And yeah, I'm set. It's Lindsay I worry about, but then we've got lots and lots of quilts and duvets and covers and things like that. And if necessary, I've got spare insulated coveralls that would It would not fit her very well, but yeah, she might not even have to wear woolen socks and house slippers underneath it because the legs would cover all the way to her toes. She had to pull the sleeves up a little bit to be able to do anything. And watching her walk around would be entertaining, but I know better than to laugh because I want to live.
Smart man.
Yeah, a little RV wouldn't be a lick amiss. Yeah. Um, we're used to being prepared for tornadoes and power outages. Uh, Georgia doesn't get that much snow. Maybe every 10 years or so, you get 2 or 3 days in a row, and it's not good
Yeah.
because trees freeze and fall across the power lines, and the electric company, those linemen deserve awards and raises and better pay for what they do to get power back to everybody. Doesn't matter where you are.
Mm-hmm.
Electrical linemen, they don't get near the credit that they deserve.
Oh, yeah. Not at all.
Yeah. Um, I've got to make sure. Yeah, I know I charged my power bank up. Then I've got one for a little bitty one for the cell phone and uh, the tablet that I need to make sure is fully charged. Got to make sure the power bank that I got for Lindsay is fully charged. We do have, like I said, it's got solar cells on it, which are slow, but whatever. And I've got extra solar cells that plug straight into it. And I've got a um, Farm Boy special rig to make sure they stay pointed at the sun. It's a laptop stand. Just have to go outside and raise it up or lower it down depending on the angle of the sun. I've got a roller table out there that I can use to make sure it's pointed in the right direction. The worst part would be in the evening because we're right there in the woods in the back of the house. So the sun gets a little attenuated coming through the forest. Um, then again, if the coyotes come up and try and harass the cats through the chain link fence, I might need some more ammunition. uh,
Oh.
that reminds me, I never actually learned how to field dress and clean a deer because I gave up hunting years ago because I'm too soft-hearted. But if it comes down to Lindsay needing food, uh, there's going to have to be a little emergency stuff going on.
Mm.
Would much prefer one of the local pheasants to a deer because that would probably I'd be forgiven faster. But you know, uh, oh no, Cap, I don't. I do not need to borrow anything. I'm a redneck. I am set. I've got enough stuff to outfit an entire platoon, and that's just my personal collection. If I needed anything more than that, Mom's still got all of Dad's hunting gear, including a bow. I'm not real good shot with a bow, but if it goes to going hungry, I'm sure I'd get better real quick. But oh, I've got a cousin that could outfit a regiment. His house, you go in there and it's just floor to ceiling rifle racks. They're not vertical, they're horizontal. It looked like he had paneled his entire house in hunting gear. Well, you grow up in East Tennessee, you learn, hey, sometimes you got to hunt something so that your family gets to eat. I'm sorry, Cap. He passed away a couple of decades ago. Um, uh, his name was Ray. I'm still in touch with his ex-wife and his kids and his grandkids, but um, he did a stint in the coal mines. Just needed the money, and black lung got him real quick. Usually it takes time, but evidently he was not in a very well ventilated mine. Yeah, well, we lost Mama's daddy that way too. He was a coal miner in Kentucky and Tennessee, and it was, he was only 67, but he'd put in a good 30 years in the coal mine. So, it happens. I wish there was more treatment and funding for treatment available for people that aren't particularly well off, but these things, they happen. Nick, I'm sure you could. All it takes is patience and a knowledge of how deep to set the float so that the sinker and hook go far enough down so that the fish are still in warm enough waters to be mobile. Because in the wintertime, that gets a little bit deeper than people expect. But, and don't be ashamed. Firearms are not for everybody. I mean, people have objections because of things that happen and stupid people doing stupid things. But growing up in East Tennessee, you learn right away. One thing you've got to do is you've got to be willing to go out and get something to put food on the family table for Sunday dinner. It might be the neighbor next door had been raising a pig and it's time to sacrifice that pig or a couple of chickens because they had chickens running around in the yard, or you go out and there is absolutely nothing wrong with quail and pheasant. Believe me, they taste really good.
See, I always kind of thought most of the mountain folk were just born, with a rifle coming out with them.
Well, my mom always claimed that I was born wearing glasses and with a mustache, and I go, that had to tickle. Oh no, Nick, it's don't worry, it's finances is a perfectly valid reason, because they're not cheap, especially not now. But Oh, pawn shops are a thing. You can get a perfectly acceptable hunting rifle, but you have to learn the rules, which I'm sure would be easy for you. And there's a few skills you have to have too, like being quiet in the woods, which I'm sure that you have everything covered on that. And like fishing, sometimes you just have to be there and not move for hours at a time. Yeah. Uh, might be the neighbor next door. No, that's not a good place. That's not a good place to go hunting. Might be the neighbor next door. Believe me, she'd be gamey. Uh, uh, no, and the one I'm thinking of, that's the one that we have to make sure that we don't let the dog out when she's standing on the porch discharging a firearm, usually a pistol. Uh, Nick should have this link. Actually, he should be in the link chat.
I don't believe he is, but we only got about 5 minutes left too.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Yeah. Ammunition is expensive. Training. That's well. I actually had the advantage over a lot of people because my childhood was spent in East Tennessee, and it, basically, like I said, uh, you want Sunday dinner for a family of 30 or 40, including cousins and aunts and uncles and everybody that lived in the same neighborhood. Sometimes grocery store doesn't cut it. You got to go out and get something.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. And if you're hunting birds, you need a decent dog too, most of the time. One that can be trained to go get whatever it is you just knocked down without eating it on the way back. And once again, we come to the end of the Redneck Digest. Oh, yeah, this one's never going to get monetized, but do I care? I didn't even ask anybody to like the video or subscribe or anything else. It's just,
But you should, folks.
well, it's free, it's simple, and I don't have a Patreon, so you don't have to worry about me begging for money. Um, well, thank you, Nick. Thank you, Cap.
Yep.
Did we have anybody else in earlier?
Yes. Daniel Berry Sports Highlights was
Yes,
first one
yes.
through the
He
door.
pops in to say hi a lot. Yep.
And of course we had the Grand Poobah himself, Joe Dog.
Mm. Yeah, but he was on screen rather than in the chat.
That's true.
I was concerned with thanking the people in the chat, and then I was going to go on to thank you and thank Joe Dog for being on camera. At
Yeah, I'll keep being on camera as long as my camera doesn't break from the look on my face.
well, you do have a backup for overhead shots you could reposition.
Yeah, but that's actually a nice camera. I don't want to risk breaking that one. That's actually a really nice camera.
Oh. Well, let me go back here to media assets that they've renamed everything.
Yeah.
Really don't. Oh, well, let's do this for Dawn. Could have been 10 minutes ago, but she'll get a kick out of it. And about the only thing I have left to say is hope we haven't offended anybody, but if it did, sorry. These things, they happen. These discussions are not scripted. We have no idea what we're going to say most of the time up until after we've opened our mouth. And that's kind of the way that it makes it more entertaining. Hell, I only know what I'm going to say about half the time. The other half, I'm surprised I said that. Witness the green room. Although last green room, I was going, well, y'all told me not to hold back. Now you're complaining. Oh, well, good night, everybody. We're going to call it a Thursday night, and we shall see you tomorrow in the green room if possible, or Saturday night also if possible.
And I'll see some of you folks tomorrow morning on Nick's show.
I will most likely still be lazing around in bed by the time Nick's shows come on. I have not gotten up that early since I retired. And it's been a year, folks. I am starting my second year of retirement and everything is going fine. I absolutely enjoy it, except nobody ever told me there was more work involved in being retired than there was going to the factory.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, now you can't take a vacation to get away from it either.
I could if I wanted to lose my wife. Oh, have to wait for LibertyCon and Hallowcon for that. Haven't added any extra conventions to the schedule. I thought I would do one per season, but I don't know. I think the two are about all we can really afford to keep up with.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, good night, everybody.
Good night, folks.
We'll see you on the flip side, as they say on CB Radio.
Transmission overload.
System will shut down. System was shut down. System was shut down. System was shut down.